今日，王某以仙化为本，用元神之力为引，问你灵天后怎念？
主子不可呀！待枷锁被破，元神必遭重创。
金符，
若任它发展，今后我们这些师兄，怕是要再无翻身之日。
Deep within the abyss of the tide's end amid surging black mist, a void spanning 100 zhang slowly took shape. At its center sat Tan Lang cross-legged. Dense demonic chi spiraled around his body as his hand gently stroked a grotesque skull. When his eyes opened, their cold gleam forced all who met his gaze to instinctively avert theirs. 4 blue-robed disciples of the great Luo sword sect, swords at their waists, stood silently encircling him. One disciple rushed forward to report that not only had the monster beasts ahead failed to disperse, their numbers had instead increased. Tan Lang acknowledged coldly that he had underestimated this place, monster beasts drawn in from the starry void by the Eye, tidal force reshaped by its strange power, were bound to give birth to powerful existences. Shenlong, senior disciple of the Great Lu sword sect, asked in a low voice about the origins of these ferocious yet nameless beasts. Tan Lang replied indifferently, the starry void was infinite and no one could know all living beings. These creatures had been drawn here by the tide 5,000 years ago. There was nothing strange about not recognizing them. A shrill screech tore through the air. At the edge of the black mist, a horde of black-furred, red-eyed monster beasts with long tentacles sealed off every exit. Mutated Wen beasts. Shenhao had already perished beneath their fangs. Even his primordial spirit had failed to escape. The group had been trapped for nearly 100 years. Day and night blurred together. Any attempt to venture out meant being torn apart instantly. Even their master's sword ki proved useless before the endless sea of beasts. Unable to wait any longer, Shenlong stood up. Together with the 4 junior brothers, he surrounded Tan Lang and demanded to know what he had taken from the cave dwelling. Tan Lang let out a hoarse laugh and overturned his storage pouch. A round egg, shrouded in dense demonic chi, appeared devoid of any life force. Shenlong glanced at it. Tan Lang's cultivation method was tied to demonic chi. Using such an item made sense. Yet no one could be certain the object had truly been discovered by Tan Lang himself. Tan Lang issued a cold warning. His voice was calm, yet the pressure within it crashed down like thunder, forcing the 4 great Luo sword sect disciples to unconsciously retreat. Only Shenlong bowed his head to admit fault, respectful on the surface, killing intent flashing within his eyes. Closing his eyes, Tan Lang spoke indifferently. If they waited another 100 years, their master would inevitably come to rescue them. Shenlong remained silent, suspicion deepening. Tan Lang clearly had no intention of leaving. He was deliberately staying behind. And there was certainly a scheme at work. At the same time, Wang Lin was flying at full speed toward the exit of the abyss of the tide's end within Fire Monster County. Based on the clues he had gathered, he suspected that Tan Lang and the great Luo sword sect disciples had likely entered this place 100 years ago. If they had not escaped, that sole exit would be the key. While flying, Wang Lin recalled the scene of merging with the grey figure within the ancient monster inheritance. The celestial slaughter art erupted. Slaughter chi surged from hundreds of thousands to tens of millions, condensing into a strange life imprint that carved itself directly into his primordial spirit, severing all connection with his body. He had personally witnessed himself being devoured by slaughter chi, ultimately transforming into a pure strand of killing intent. This was true slaughter. The memory still sent chills down Wang Lin's spine. He vaguely realized that all-seer Tian Yunzi passing the celestial slaughter art to him was likely not merely out of appreciation for his aptitude. Had he comprehended it further, he feared he would have become nothing more than a sacrifice, suppressing the killing intent. Wang Lin decided not to alert Tian Yunzi for the time being, and instead secretly study a way to pojai the celestial slaughter art. Upon reaching the exit of Fire Monster County, he discreetly set up several tracking restrictions before immediately departing, heading straight for Water Monster County for Zhou Yi and also for Jufu. Several days later, above the cloud-covered sea of clouds west of Water Monster County, one of the passages to the abyss of the tide's end appeared. 4 cultivators stood before the sea of clouds. Among them was a white-robed female cultivator with a gentle appearance and mature temperament. Simply standing there caused the scenery itself to fade into insignificance. The abyss of the tide's end rippled once more. Beside her stood another woman of more ordinary appearance, slender and frail, clad in pink robes. Her complexion slightly pale. Though lacking sharpness, she possessed an added touch of loveliness. A pink-robed young man stood nearby, smiling warmly, his voice tinged with the pride of a heaven-blessed genius. He introduced this place as the Cloud Mist Mountain Sea of Water Monster County, claiming its scenery surpassed even that of the immortal realm. The black-robed man beside him responded with only a single cold word before closing his eyes again. The white-robed woman chuckled softly, hinting that Dujian's attachment to this place was not solely due to its beauty. Dujian admitted frankly that within the Sea of Clouds lay a fissure, very likely the entrance to the abyss of the Tide's End. Before he could continue, the black-robed man suddenly opened his eyes, his sharp gaze fixed on the horizon. Very strong. A rainbow tore through the clouds and arrived, transforming into an ordinary-looking white-robed youth, Wang Lin. Upon recognizing him, Dujian was shocked the other party had already reached the Ascendant Realm. Wang Lin halted his gaze first, landing on the black-robed man. With a single glance, he judged that the man's cultivation was no weaker than his own. Only then did he look at Dujian, a Z lineage disciple of Tianyunzi. Dujian took the initiative to introduce everyone. The black-robed man spoke more than usual calmly, announcing his name, Zhou. The words carried the implication of equal standing, shocking the other three. Zhou Yi and junior sister Xu Fei greeted him in turn. The name Xu Fei caused Wang Lin to pause slightly, though he quickly concealed it, merely stating that it coincided with the name of an old acquaintance. When Dujian asked directly about his purpose, Wang Lin did not hide it. He had come for the abyss of the Tide's End. Dujian proposed an alliance. After brief consideration, especially due to Zhou, Wang Lin nodded in agreement. Dujian smiled outwardly, yet jealousy and malice surged within. 100 years ago, Wang Lin had only been at the soul transformation realm. Now he was already ascendant. Such speed unsettled him. But Wang Lin had long seen through these thoughts. The five entered the Cloud Mist Mountain Sea together. Clouds churned endlessly, the scenery illusory yet magnificent. Zhou Yi quietly observed Wang Lin several times. Within the land of monster spirits, there were only 3 people she could not see through Shenlong, Zhou, and Wang Lin. Shenlong wielded mist that transformed into swords. Zhou was unfathomably mutable. As for Wang Lin, he concealed nothing transformed. Nothing, he simply sealed his mind shut. At that moment, Wang Lin suddenly turned his head, casually glancing at her before turning away. A strange light flickered silently in Zhou Yixuan's eyes. Wang Lin's gaze was like a blade piercing straight into her mind. She flinched slightly, then immediately concealed her emotions. Interesting. I merely formed a thought, and he already detected it. A trace of interest appeared in her eyes. Wang Lin sneered inwardly. Among the 4, the most unpredictable was actually the seemingly frail woman named Xu Fei. There was always something eerie about her presence. The 5 passed through the clouds, revealing below them a massive fissure like a gate opening into the depths of the earth. Its walls were smooth as though carved by weapons. The deeper it went, the darker it became, branching endlessly like the maw of a monster awaiting prey. Dujian suggested everyone seek their own opportunities. He and Zhou separated. Wang Lin did not search for treasures and instead descended directly. Zhou Yixuan glanced at his retreating figure before choosing another fissure, with Xu Fei silently following behind. After descending another 100, Wang Lin stopped. An ancient tree grew from the cliff wall, ordinary at first glance, yet it stirred his vigilance. Sure enough, behind the roots lay a flying sword, radiating purple light. Dujian cried out in shock. The All-Seer's companion sword. He insisted it was the Z lineage companion sword of Tianyunzi, once bestowed upon Sun Yun, and requested that everyone yield so Wang Lin could return the item to its rightful owner. Wang Lin merely smiled. The crescent blade shot out, wrapping around the flying sword in an instant. But the moment it entered Wang Lin's grasp, he clenched lightly. The sword crumbled into iron dust. A trap. Dujian's face turned deathly pale. Without a word, Wang Lin acted, hurling him straight toward the ancient tree. The tree instantly disintegrated, transforming into countless finger-sized flying insects that swarmed toward Dujian, biting into his protective magic treasure with horrifying crackling sounds. Dujian screamed in panic. Zhou intervened, but every divine ability passed through the insects as though striking illusions. Save me. I know the secrets of Tianyunzi. I even know about Sun Yun's betrayal. Dujian howled in despair. Wang Lin remained indifferent. Only when Dujian's protection was about to shatter did Wang Lin raise his hand. A golden talisman erupted in brilliance like the sun. The insects immediately abandoned Dujian and charged madly toward the light. With swift movements, Wang Lin drew talismans, luring the insects to split apart and devour each streak of radiant light. For the first time, shock appeared on the faces of Zhou Yi and Xu Fei. Watching this scene, Wang Lin finally understood why he had always felt that these two women were not quite right. But now was not the time to ponder it. His figure flashed, appearing before Du Jian, his hand reaching down. In his final moment of desperation, Du Jian bit his tongue and spat out a mouthful of primordial spirit blood essence. Du Jian's blood boiled in mid-air, exploding into countless tiny droplets. Even the slightest contact would bore holes straight through Wang Lin's body. Yet with a casual sweep of his hand, Wang Lin gathered them all away, his gaze icy. Seizing that instant, Du Jian retreated rapidly, flinging out several pitch-black lumps of flesh. Vile, corrupted flesh, incomparably vicious. They detonated in mid-air, waves of putrid stench rolling outward. Wang Lin summoned the Yellow Spring's finger, sweeping it horizontally. All the filth was swallowed whole, its power instead increasing. The gap in cultivation was simply too great. In a blink, Wang Lin closed the distance. He sealed Du Jian's primordial spirit, suppressed him with the soul flag, and directly stored him inside his storage pouch. Everything happened in the span of a breath. No one had time to interfere. He turned around. Golden talismans circled his body, while the flying insects crazily devoured the golden light without suffering the slightest damage. The annihilation finger pierced straight through the talismans with ease. This sight caused Murong Zhuo's expression to change. Ignoring divine abilities, a trace of greed flashed across Zhou Yixuan's face. Xu Fei's pupils shrank sharply. Only Murong Zhuo remained composed. The four continued descending. Along the way, Wang Lin observed more closely and became increasingly certain the two women, Zhao and Xu, were absolutely not simple. They were very likely members of the corpse Yin sect, perhaps even with someone whose corpse body housed a primordial spirit. Near the bottom of the abyss of the tide's end, Wang Lin halted. He cupped his hands toward Murong Zhuo in farewell and spoke rare words of sincere friendship. Before leaving, he sent a voice transmission warning Murong Zhuo to beware of those two women. The three flew deeper into the abyss. As they departed, Xu Fei secretly released a strand of hair, sticking it to the cliff wall. Wang Lin detected it instantly. He summoned the hair into his hand, rubbed it between two fingers, and 6 flames erupted. The hidden divine sense within was exposed for a moment before being scattered by him. A warning is still not enough. Deep within the abyss, Xu Fei's body trembled slightly. A trace of fresh blood seeped from the corner of her mouth, terror clearly visible in her eyes. Crushing that thread-thin fragment of divine sense, Wang Lin's expression turned cold. The divine sense of the corpse Yin sect was concealed extremely deeply. Any moment of carelessness would mean falling into their trap. He immediately understood Xu Fei was the true body, while Zhao Yixuan was merely a corpse puppet. Recalling how Zhou Yi had once forcibly taken Sun Tai along with that unusually agile corpse puppet back then, all the clues finally linked together. Wang Lin quickly suppressed these thoughts. For now, the most important matter was still Zhou Yi. He searched every fissure in the abyss, using both Bei Luo's crystal and the soul banner, releasing thousands of souls to scout, yet there was not the slightest trace of Zhou Yi. This made him fall silent. Something's wrong. If it were Sword Sovereign Ling Tianhou, he would never seal Zhou Yi in such an obvious place. Within Wang Lin's mind, the domineering and tyrannical Dao intent of Ling Tianhou gradually took form. Sword Qi inside his body trembled violently, madness seeping into his eyes, yet he hurriedly suppressed it. Cold sweat breaking out, borrowing even a sliver of that Dao intent had nearly injured him. Without hesitation, Wang Lin drew his sword. Sword Qi erupted, shredding the abyss walls within 100 jang. Rubble collapsed, entire layers of rock forced downward. After half a stick of incense, a small opening was revealed, emanating an overwhelmingly domineering aura. Not Zhou Yi, but Ling Tianhou. The sword Immortal Sword Qi and the crescent blade struck simultaneously. The moment Wang Lin's divine sense made contact, a tyrannical divine thought crashed into him, flinging him away like a meteor. Boom! Wang Lin smashed hard into the rock wall, blood spilling from the corner of his mouth. His primordial spirit nearly shattered. So strong, just a single remnant strand of divine sense was already enough to kill an ascendant cultivator. He stared at the opening, his gaze firm. Zhou Yi was certainly sealed within. Ling Tianhou very likely had already reached great completion of the pure Nirvana realm. Compared to such an existence, his current cultivation was still far too weak. Yet there was not the slightest hesitation in Wang Lin's eyes. From an ordinary youth, he had climbed step by step through blood and will alone. This path of cultivation he would continue walking it, though in the eyes of those who had crossed the second heavenly gate, An ascendant cultivator was no more than an ant. At the first gate, such a person was still a lord of a region. Wang Lin took a deep breath and tapped his glabella. Nearly 100,000 strands of slaughter chi transformed into life imprints enveloping his entire body. The final strand merged into his mind, causing the life imprints to continuously regenerate unless his primordial spirit was shattered instantly. Demonic armor manifested, golden talismans circled, the soul banner unfurled shrouding his body. Preparations complete, he did not hesitate and stepped straight into the opening. Savor Zhou Yi. Zhou Yi was not a confidant yet. That man's obsession and resolve had carved themselves deeply into Wang Lin's soul. Someone who dared to burn his own soul for love, that light alone was enough to prevent others from turning away. The instant he stepped inside, Ling Tianhou's tyrannical divine sense surged forth, transforming into sword light that slashed downward. The souls within the soul banner desperately resisted, yet were still pierced through. Wang Lin did not retreat. He knew that retreating even one step meant losing everything. Golden talismans trembled, flying insects fell, souls shattered. The demonic armor was forced to crack terrifying pressure, nearly collapsing his body. Yet Wang Lin's gaze remained unwavering. He released the Sanmo soul. The pitch-black demonic soul roared, devouring Ling Tianhou's divine sense as demonic chi erupted unprecedentedly. But the instant the demonic soul began to lose control, Wang Lin immediately pulled it back, retracting the demonic armor as well. He advanced another 10 zhang. A third wave of divine sense descended, accompanied by Ling Tianhou's faint incantation. The life imprints expanded to 1,000,000 before shattering in an instant. Wang Lin let out a low roar. The god-slaying war chariot transformed into a lightning beast blocking in front of him. Lightning exploded. The beast was blasted away, but it bought him a moment. The life imprints regenerated. Light flashed in Wang Lin's eyes. Defense was not enough. He had to attack. The annihilation finger fired like a rain of black arrows, striking straight at the tyrannical divine sense. He stepped forward again, unleashing the demonizing finger immortal energy, converting into pure demonic chi, merging with the Sanmo soul. This time it was not one strike, but 10 demonizing fingers tearing through the air simultaneously. The path ahead, even the divine sense of a sword sovereign could not stop him. The yellow springs appeared beneath his feet. Wang Lin stepped upon it and advanced several more steps, all divine abilities erupting at once against Ling Tianhou's divine sense. Millions of life imprints shattered, transforming into slaughter chi that condensed entirely into his finger and shot forward. The abyss of the tide's end shook violently. Rocks burst from the walls. The lightning beast screeched, transforming into lightning that followed the attack. The shockwaves spread all the way to the bottom of the abyss, shaking the entire water monster county. Deep below, within the corridor shaped like the character Hui, the giant sword embedded in the ground trembled. Tan Lang opened his eyes, gaze icy. Ling Tianhou's aura, and another person as well. Within the ceiling fissure, Wang Lin was blasted backward, blood spilling from the corner of his mouth. The third divine sense of Ling Tianhou was too strong, but in that instant it also revealed a flaw. Wang Lin did not regulate his breath. He transformed into a bolt of lightning and charged straight into that opening. One who intrudes shall die. The domineering voice echoed. Wang Lin's primordial spirit shook violently. He spat blood, his face pale, yet his gaze did not retreat. The immortal brush appeared. 7 strokes were drawn in rapid succession, each stroke merging with a portion of his primordial spirit. The 7-stroke symbol took shape, shining like a descending sun, piercing through the entire rock wall of the abyss. Ling Tianhou's divine sense was pierced through, transforming into a robed figure, then condensing back into sword chi that thundered forward. A heaven-shaking collision followed. The symbol shattered. 6 portions of primordial spirit dissipated. Wang Lin spat blood repeatedly, but Ling Tianhou's sword chi was also enveloped by golden light, slowing for a brief instant. That instant was enough. Wang Lin surged past, reaching the end of the fissure. Before him, Zhou Yi, a dark purple spirit body. The light at his glabella was being gnawed away strand by demonic chi. Beneath him lay the immortal, refining demon, transforming grand formation. 4 sword primordial spirits suppressing him as demonic chi from the soul of an ancient demon ceaselessly eroded him. Senior Zhou Yi. Zhou Yi's eyelids trembled slightly, opening to reveal empty eyes. Behind them, Ling Tianhou's sword chi struck again. A sigh echoed. The sword chi dissipated. Go. 3 words calm to the point of cruelty. Wang Lin laughed coldly at himself. 6 fragments of primordial spirit exchanged for a single rejection. Your heart is already dead. I should not have come. He turned and left. but Zhou Yi raised his hand and flicked lightly. The life-bound sword, Qi of the Wu-Qi Immortal Sword, shattered the final light barrier. Ling Tianhou's divine sense dissolved into countless points of light, surging into Wang Lin's primordial spirit, restoring it, Shenji strengthening it. You were injured for me. I return it. Go. Wang Lin did not turn back. He tossed behind him the pagoda containing Zhou Yi's divine sense. The promise from back then, I have fulfilled it. Zhou Yi stared at the pagoda and whispered, Tinga. Wang Lin halted, speaking coldly. She is not Tinga. Her name is Qing Shuang. Zhou Yi's spirit body shook violently. The emptiness vanished, replaced by fierce light bursting from his eyes. Qing Shuang,